All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's um, talk a little bit about demonolatry tonight. All right. For those of you new to my channel, I'm Michael Hyson, aka Angelus, son of Abaddon. I am the founder of the Order of the Black Thorn, and I'm currently working alongside the Dark Sorcery channel. Okay. I am a teacher and an ordained minister. All right. Now, with that out of the way, when I say demonolatry or demons and ritual magic, okay, what I mean is within any form of ritual, you really need to understand who you're calling forth, okay? There are three classifications of dietas. The first are the ones that are beneficial to the practitioner. The second is the baneful. And then you have those that are the guardians, the teachers. Hello, Tasha. Now, these type of beings can be utilized no matter if they're good or bad for your health. And I'll tell you why. It is a matter of energy transference. Okay. If we follow the Kabbalah, the Hermetic traditions, where you form a circle or you follow the Salamantic teachings, such as devil traps and all these, to in the rod of power from the Grand Grimoire, out of just an example, you're basically going to piss off that being. Okay. Now, if we utilize that system and utilize a, like, say, for an example, the names of power, Yeshua, Elohim, stuff like that. It's number one, it's going to piss them off big time. But you can utilize that triangle of evocation much in the same way as you would an athame pointing from direction to direction. Okay. But here's the thing, when you learn how to direct energy and delve into energy transference, such as giving off that energy to someone else, even over great distances. Okay. I've done things for people that live 8, 9, even 13, total of, say, 8 states away. I've done things where I've read people on the other side of the globe. Okay. Energy transference allows you to tap into currents that most people are not sensitive enough to even detect. And when you're working with demons, it's a whole nother ballgame because you have teachers, you have guides, you have the spiritual leaders. Okay. Hey, you take, for an example, let's go with the Salamantic keys, the clavicle of Solomon. And we go with, say, for an example, let's break it down into 3 sections: the higher Salamantic keys, the arcane, versus that of, say, for an example, the minor. Let's go with the Goetia. Okay, the Goetic structure, the hierarchy. You have the kings, the marquis, you have the princes and the dukes, each one with their own unique personality. Now let's go with, for an example, let's align this with the Grand Grimoire or the Grand Grimoire Red Dragon. Okay. Number one, the three main beings are, for the most part, Lucifer, Beelzebub, and Astaroth. Okay, those are the top three beings in these works. The top three. Until you get to the Secrets of Solomon. And then Astaroth is replaced by Alistar. Okay. Now, Alistar is the executioner. Okay. He's an agent of death. And when we're talking necromancy and demonic sorcery, such as Satanism and satanic magic, you're dealing with agents of death. You're dealing with things that are beings of gratification. You're dealing with people, or beings, I should say, that deal with insights into areas of animalistic tendencies in nature. For an example, a while back I did a ritual on the three classifications of rituals: compassion, lust, and destruction. Okay. So if we take just these three and we break them down into the major categories of what people seek throughout their life, be it monetary gain, money. Okay. Money is always a good thing, especially for the mundane, the average world. And then you have the lust. Everybody today seems to be looking for that, how should I say, that orgasmic um, connection. And then you have the destruction rituals where people want their enemies dead, hurting, maybe taught a lesson, humility, even. Okay. So when we look at this, how does demonolatry play a role? Number one, you want to look at the type of ritual that you're doing. You want to look at the demons, the list, no matter what tradition you're following. If you follow that of, say, the Mazajira Cabal system, their tools are a lot different from everyone else's, okay, that I've ever come up against. But I'm not talking the Cabal here. No. Azazel may be the buried king, okay, in the Cabal system. He's the ruler and the emperor of Caractères. Okay, he was a necromancer beforehand, before descending into the underworld, being given this rank and being offered the position as the buried king. But when we're looking at goetic spirits versus, say, that of Aztec, be it gods of destruction, okay, number one, you're going to find demons, gods, angels, okay, even the jinn, and just about worldwide. And it's really interesting to note that there are gods that you can call on. For an example, look at, let's say, for an example, we're going to do a destruction ritual. First, I would call upon, say, Anubis. Okay, Anubis is the Lord of the Dead in Egyptian mythology. Okay. Now, when we go to Inca, we're going to see a different Lord of the Dead. And in this case, we're going to see Supe. Okay. Even in, say, for example, Aztec, you're going to see a different ruler of the dead. Okay. But you're also not going to just see gods, you're going to see goddesses as well, like Hecate, Ereshkigal. Okay? Hell. All right? Even Bastet. Bastet is the ruler of cats, and cats are the rulers or the gatekeepers of the underworld. Most people don't realize that. Yeah, you can use him for that. Viney, he is one of the 9 kings of the Gwedic. Okay? One of the most powerful groups of beings out there. Everyone from demonolatry to Satanism has used them, even black magicians, sorcerers. When we look at let's take a look at it from, say, E.A. Koetting's point of view when he did a lecture on this. Beelzebub, or Beleth, Belial, and Paimon would be classified as beings of influence. Okay? Influencing somebody's mind is something that, or their thoughts, is something that is very beneficial, especially in destruction rituals. Okay? Now, you look at, for an example, the old Maledictorum type ritual of Hexcraft. It's called the self-made curse. And no other curse can do it better than the individual. Okay? When you do a curse, and you just say, for an example, let's say, for an example, you're Googling and you see a photo, you come across the link, a page of curses, but nobody can tell you anything about them, but yet a lot of people utilize them. Okay? Let's say, for example, the Lucifer's Touch, okay, curse. Very effective curse, I might add. It really is. But then you compare that to the 3 Nights of Hell, or that of, say, the Bone Hex, perhaps even the Elemental Curse that's in the same page. Same exact thing. 1 out of 4 will work. And that's because it's done by a practitioner, somebody who knows what they're doing. Okay? Now here's the interesting thing. I once did a curse on somebody. I typed out the Lucifer's Touch just because the guy pissed me off on the wrong day at the wrong time. Okay? Within 12 hours, the guy was dead. It wasn't what I had written. It is what he thought. Okay? He thought I was cursing him. Okay? That was his first mistake and last. All right? Now, the individual that he was arguing with was a former apprentice of mine. And this apprentice decided to drag me into this argument. Okay? And I just put that up there. Within 12 hours, my former apprentice was online typing out the fact that she was scared because the person that had been cursed or thought was cursed lived right down the street from her. And he was dead in less than 12 hours. Okay? Persuasion of thought. Paimon is great for that. Okay? We know that Belial is that of an individual. Okay? Belith is a very powerful being that is very vengeful. Okay? He's made his reputation very, very clear. Okay? Now, the next stage in E.A. Koetting's thought form and his description was what was it? Balaam, Viney, and Corazon. Okay, now, or Corazon. Now, this is something that's very interesting is because these beings are known for their knowledge. They're known for their intelligence. So therefore, they have the knowledge and the combined Grimwork attributes of the type of ritual that you're willing to do. Okay, in this case, you asked me about destruction rituals. Okay, can Viney be used in destruction rituals? The answer is yes, and this is why. When you're doing a destruction ritual using Viney, okay, you look at what he's capable of doing. Now, let's let's say, for an example, let's take the Book of Ceremonial Magic. All right, let me see if I can find his thing here. All right, let's say there's a lot of beings in here. I just want you to get a full attribute, a full how should I say this, attribute of what he's capable of doing. All right. Now I'm pretty sure it passed it already. Yeah, I did. There's Belial. Okay. All right, right here. Page 210 in the Book of Ceremonial Magic by Arthur Edward White. Okay, he's right up at the top. Viney, a great king and earl. Okay, he's both an earl and a king. Appears in the monstrous form, but assumes human shape and commanded. When commanded, he discerns things hidden, reveals witches, and makes known the past, present, and future. Okay. At the command of the exorcist, he will build towers, demolish walls, and make the waters stormy. Okay. So, right there, you have your answer of what he's capable of doing. Okay. He can demolish walls. Okay. Think of all the obstacles that are standing in your way. All right. I always tell people if you're going to curse somebody, especially over, say, the internet, utilize the photo of their profile. Number one, it's linked to their personal energy because they took the time to set that photo in there. Okay. They chose that photo for a reason. Okay. You can utilize the name because that's the name that's linked to them. It doesn't matter if it's the correct name, as in their birth name, their magical name, or even one that they just made up out of propaganda to stir up trouble. Okay. Now, okay. Now you notice right there what you just said. Okay. Now you got to go to 210 again. All right. Number one, he discerns hidden things, reveals witches. Okay. Witches, sorcerers, anyone who stands against you. Okay. Your personal enemies. Okay. The individual who was sending you harm or bad spirits is doing you harm. Therefore, he's an enemy and he or she is trying to remain hidden. Okay. Now, Viney makes that not an option. Okay. Now, you take Baal for an example. Baal, okay? His name means God or Lord, okay? Within the Chaldean time frame, okay? Now, here's the funny thing is, he can make people invisible. Okay, not physically invisible, but to those seeking you out, you can become invisible through his help. Okay, through calling upon him and asking for that cloak of invisibility. Okay, and the wisdom that goes along with utilizing it. Okay, just like using Paimon to persuade men's minds. Okay, Balaam is known as a being who is a corrupter of women. Okay, he reveals all things of the sexual nature, but also brings people together from either the same sex or opposite sex. Okay, just as Asmodeus or Asmodai is a being of desire, he's wrathful. Okay, even the book of Tobit really classifies this. Okay, so when we call upon a being for any form of ritual, say destruction, I would personally, if it was me, I would go with Paimon. I would go with, say, Viney. I would go with Beleth. Okay. But more so, I would rather stay invisible to them so they don't see me coming. Okay. So I would work with Baal or Baal. Okay. And Baal happens to be the offspring of Dagon, okay, the ancient Chaldean god, okay, the serpent of the deep, as they call, okay. Now, one of the other things is what are your intentions at retaliating? Okay, a lot of people don't contemplate on how they're going to to attack. They're more looking at discovery, or they're looking at how to defend against. Okay, they and in my case, in my personal experience, a lot of people that come to me are more interested in going on the offensive. Okay, so one of the things that I would recommend is work with a being that is very powerful within nature based. Okay, like say Agares, okay, causes earthquakes, teaches languages, makes those trying to run away to come back, but more so, he grounds their feet. Okay. Um, Even E.A. Koetting had stated once in one of his videos that chicken feet is a symbolatry of grounding one's feet. Okay. Especially in a cemetery. All right. Um, Batlin, knowledge of herbs and stones. Okay. When we look at sigils or sigilliums, runes, even, runes can be both protective and offensive at the same time. Herbs can be used along with fruits and vegetables to create a magical circle. For an example, if you take the an apple and you cut it in half, you have a pentagram in it. Okay, you just toss halves different directions until you've got a complete circle. But you can also use bay leaves or basil. Okay, in this case, and that those two actually go together. So you got herbs right there, but also fruits. Plants and trees are a sorcerer or sorceress's best friend. Okay, blood magic and sorcery goes a long way. It is both a an offering and it is also a gift. Okay, it's kind of like giving it back to them for coming to you, okay, and working with you. Okay, think of it this way: if you've crossed multiple dimensions just to commune with someone, how much energy do you put out? 3 drops of blood, as Wiccans and pagans call it, okay, with their rituals, is a way to give back. That is their offering. Okay, now they don't work with their beings on a daily basis, not like black magicians do. okay, or Satanists. It's an everyday process. It is something that we do throughout the entire day. Okay, it's through rituals, it's through thoughts, it's through meditation. It's even being connected to our own altars through energy raisings, like through Orcrox. Okay, all right, the all-seeing eye of Ra, or Horus, in this case. Okay, the Ankh. Now, I have a witch friend who lives down by Missouri, Oklahoma area. And she came to me with a vision and saw certain things. Okay, and I'll get to that in a minute. But my other friend, a fellow admin for the Dark Sorcery channel, she came to me because she was being drawn to the Ankh. Okay, that's a symbol right here. The Ankh. It's an Egyptian icon, you know, and it is represented by both life and death. It is immortal life and death. Okay. It is also the symbolatry of union. Okay. Now, if you take that symbol and you go into voodooism, okay, the effigy, such as a voodoo doll, in the old ways would use corn husks and string. Okay. This imagery makes up a person. Kind of like a cross, doesn't it? If you think of the cross, it's the same exact thing. The five-pointed star, the pentagram, same exact thing. Hey, Astrid. Welcome to the group chat. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to do with this type of stuff, especially with rituals and working with demonolatry. So, number one, you do want to know who you're calling on. And number three, you really, really need to know what type of ritual that you want to do. Make sure that you have the proper offering in place and you never keep them waiting. Okay. Now, knowing demonolatry and rituals, a lot of people, they're not really comfortable going from invocations to evocations. And this is why. Evocations is calling these beings into yourself. Okay. It is where you literally bring them, you open up your arms and you welcome them into your very being. Okay. Your vessel to do with whatever they want while they're there. Okay. You look at Joseph Nunn's channel, Behemoth X. Okay. He does a lot of these things. All right. Hell of a guy, too. I love this guy. I consider him a brother and friend. Now, some of these videos, he literally gets possessed. And it's that possession aspect that really offends people to the point where it's not really offending them. It's more of the fact that it unnerves them. The thought of letting one of these very, very powerful beings come into your very body. Okay. What if you can't break free of them? What if they corrupt your soul to the point where you're condemned and you're basically doing an out-of-body experience for all eternity, and they're walking around in your rotting meat sack? Okay. Well, number one, you have the choice to bring them in just as much as you have the choice to end that ritual. Okay, to send them away. But if you do call on them, don't turn away what they have to offer. Okay. It's like saying, I want to drive a car, but I don't want the keys. Or I want to have coffee, but I really don't like that cup. You know what I'm saying? It's people go a certain amount of steps and they're expecting these beings to do the rest. Number one, Demons don't want your soul. They the devil doesn't want your soul. Okay? They want you to be better. They want you to learn, to grow. Every being that I have contacted, every being that I have communed with in rituals within the inner sanctum of my temple, both there and invoking them into myself, I have seen and experienced magnificent things. When I've called upon them, either for persuasion, for knowledge, or even for the arts. Okay? Either way, they have been there. It wasn't the way I expected it to be, but it was there. Okay? I put forth a petition a while back for an example. My boss had had a heart attack. Okay? While on the job, his second job. And he was out for a good 4 months. Triple bypass, the whole kit and caboodle. Okay? Now, I looked at the higher ups. I looked at, during this time, we lost a lot of people. We lost a lot of people. Okay. And the funny thing is that it wasn't about how we lost them. It was more of the fact that what was going on at the time. I went to the ASM and I said, we need closers. Well, I'm willing to become a closer. I can do it 3 nights a week and somebody else can take it the rest of the way. Okay. Now, I even talked to the district manager. I even talked to the owner. Okay. And they said, well, right now we have somebody in mind, but we'll keep you in mind as well. Okay. We've got somebody chosen for the manager program already, but we will keep you in mind. So I did a ritual. Okay. And at the time, we had a lot of things going on in our own lives here. Okay. So I called on these beings, I called on Paimon, Beleth, Belial to do their things. I called on Asmodai for his services because I want my desire to be put out there. I even recoiled from working with my patron Astaroth for a little bit because I felt like Astaroth wasn't doing her end of the bargain. Okay, the Faustian deal, so to speak. So I went to Lucifer Raphael and I said, "Hey, you know what? This is why I'm walking away from Astaroth. I want nothing to do with Astaroth until she steps up to the ball and plate." Okay. Now, then I started working with Beelzebub, the Lord of Flies. Okay. And I started working with Zazazel, the Ancient Darkness, and I started working with the Buried King, and I started working with all these other beings such as Volak. Okay. Volak is someone that I really recommend that you utilize, especially in destruction rituals, compassion rituals, or even lust rituals. Okay. And this is why. Volak is one of those beings that is a corrupter, he's a tempter. Okay. He'll open up these doorways and you sit back and you watch these individuals just going for it. Okay. Now, while I was working with Volak, we kept losing people at work, and I couldn't figure out why. So and then one day I was sitting there, and I was doing dishes in the back room, and my team lead was talking to the ASM, and they were talking about all these new people that we had gotten in. Okay, all these rookies. And I was sitting there and I was thinking about it, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, especially since I'm the most experienced worker, she's got left, and she looked right at me and then looked back at the ASM and said, "It's sad, but he's right." So and that night I was sitting there thinking about it, and We had one person just get up and quit. Okay, just literally just get up and quit right out of the blue about an hour into her shift. Okay, we had one get terminated. We had two put in their 2 week notices. We got several that were terminated because they weren't showing up for their jobs. Okay, so all these people, and then we had these others who were just leaving for better jobs. Okay, I mean, literally, it's like the doors just opened, and they were going for these better jobs, and it was funny because when it hit me, it was like, okay, these beings are working in the background here, and I started thinking about that ritual I did about 3 months earlier. So here we are. All of these people got up and left within a single month. Okay, a single month is all it took. And while they were looking for another closer, I was the one filling in as the most experienced team member there outside of the ASM or the team lead for my shift. Okay. So in a sense, when I asked for those doors to be opened, number one, I was expecting to become a manager, not to be trained as a team lead, which is a junior manager, or as my ASM calls it, babysitting. Which, if you think about it, especially with today's crews, yeah, I can see that. But you see my point. When they give you something, it may not be what you are expecting. But trust me, it's a stepping stone to something greater. It means that something else is coming down the road. And you have to take the good and the bad. All right? Now, doing rituals, doing invocations or evocations, using sigils and sigilliums, herbalism, alchemy, dealing anything with necromantic rituals and rites from, say, bone casting or utilizing skeleton remains. Okay, for, like, say, certain bones can be used for powerful curses and hexes, whereas others can be charged for protection and others can be used for wardings. Okay, look at the runes worldwide, from the Norse runes to numerology to glyphs. Okay, in certain sequences, they can be very, very potent. Okay, and I've talked about this before. Even in herbalism, if you take one stick of frankincense, one stick of myrrh, and one stick of dragon's blood, and you burn those three at the same time, and it doesn't matter what symbol you use, and you go throughout your house, your apartment, inside and out if you can, every archway, every door frame, every window, every vent, you purify that entire space, and you create a protective a bubble. Okay, but you can also use glyphs and seals, okay, as means of protection, cloaking, adjuration, and most importantly, a devil trap towards those who are trying to attack you. Okay, and it's so funny how that happens because of the fact that right now we've been having an issue with a neighbor. Okay, making shit up, pounding on walls, you know, basically terrorizing. Okay, he woke my son up from a sleep last night, and my son was afraid to go back to sleep. So guess who had to stay up all night? Yep. Okay, and then go to work today. So there are many ways to deal with something like this, even in your situation. Sabnuk is pretty good. He's more of a vengeance type demon, or in his case, angel. I believe he's from the fifth echelon, if I remember correctly. But when it comes to the hierarchy of dominions or domains, now Ariok is another good one. He's known as a lion. Very, very ferocious, but as my brother found out, doing more damage than good. Now, I don't think he's really figured out why that was going on, but when he set up the skills from the Mazajir Cabal system and got into the right way, Ariok shot out like a cannonball, so to speak. So that just goes to show you that system is more potent. But every system out there, no matter what grimoire you're in, say for an example, like I said, the book of ceremonial magic by Arthur Edward White, Secrets of Solomon, Grimorium Vernum, True Black Magic, the book of the Sacred Magic of Abram Malin the Mage, the Keys of Solomon, the Grand Grimoire Red Dragon, the Complete Grimoire of Pope Honorius. Okay. You see what I mean? There's a lot of different grimoires out there, and you can utilize them for different things. Okay. They have different hierarchies, different beings by different names. For an example, those of you who get into demonolatry can look back throughout history and trace the origins of a being. Belial himself goes all the way back to ancient Sanskrit. Okay. Specifically, the scrolls, okay, the Sanskrit scrolls, the scroll of Amrin, all right, and he's known as the leader of the sons and daughters of darkness, opposing Michael, the leader of the sons and daughters of light, all right. So you can see where all of this kind of correlates here, all right. Now, these are just some of the grimoires that are out there that have different techniques. The Galdrabok, which is the Icelandic book of magic, it's one of the feared ones. The False Hierarchy of Demons, the Ars Armadell, the Picatrix, the Black Pellet. Okay, the book of, like I said, the book of the Sacred Magic of Abram Malin the Mage, the La Magi Dabertel, the Greek magical papyri, the Sworn Book of Honorius, also known as the Constitution of Pope Honorius, and the Necromyicon. Okay, there's so many different books out there and so many different methods. And then you get into a book like, say, the Red Book of Appin, okay, who deals with Samael, known as the Venom, okay, of God. And you have Lilith, the first wife of Adam, the mother of Vampiric, the first succubi, okay. She's the mother of all demons, okay. There's so many different myths just about her. Okay, so I mean, and then you have Nibiros and Astaroth. And then you have Moloch, the prince of the Valley of Tears. Okay? There's so many different beings that you can go to. So many different domains and so many different groups, from the 36 Deacons of Destruction. You have the 9 Kings of the Goetia. You have the 9 Infernal Gatekeepers. You have the 7 Crown Princes of the Air, the 7 Crown Princes of the Underworld, the 4 arch or sub demons of the Underworld. Okay, there are so many different groups of just beings, even the 7 Olympic spirits, okay, that you can call on worldwide. If you want to get into the original pagan myths, the gods, the pagan gods, be it Egyptian, Greek, Roman, Germanic, Anglo-Saxon, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's up to you. My point is, if you're going to do a ritual and you're going to utilize one of these beings, number one, know who you're calling and for what purpose. Number two, always have the proper offering and never keep them waiting. And number three, whatever comes out of the ritual, through you and the communing of that being or beings, no matter how small or how great, don't turn it away. And this is why. If you sit there and you say, well, you only gave me 1% of what I asked for, I'm going to just walk away from you. Guess what? That just shut down what was in the works. Okay? That just shut down this being, and it shut down you. These beings are not going to work with you again if you disrespect them like that. Okay? How would you feel if somebody disrespected you in that manner? Okay? You see my point. So really, when you work with them, no matter what comes out of it, accept it. It's a small stepping stone. Okay? It's a small stepping stone to a much larger boulder. All right? Keep that in mind. So with that said, I hope this has been intellectual. I hope it's been educational. And you can always reach me here on my channel. Feel free to leave a message. You can find me on Facebook and message me there. And till next time, have a good night.